for me for a long time with nicknames in Major League Baseball. So I think you had one of the best in the early 2000s. Do you agree?
I loved it. Like I preferred it to Travis. I really liked the ring of Pronk. I had it on all my gloves. Not that I really ever wore a glove, but I put it on my bats, and I really liked it. So I got called up in 2002, and I was playing with the Rangers at the time, and we were in Cleveland. And some guys like Bill Selby, Lee Stevens, they were kind of watching me play, and they're like, "What do you think of this Hafner kid?" They're like, "He's a little bit raw. He's kind of a project." And then that following off season, I got traded to Cleveland. So Bill Selby was still there. He was calling me project, and a lot of the guys are just calling me like, "What's up, big donkey?" You know, just being a big guy. So I had a couple of people calling me project, a couple of people calling me donkey. So we put them together. We had Pronky. Our first road trip was to Toronto, so I was Le Pronk for that trip, and then it just shortened up to Pronk, and like I absolutely loved it.
That's awesome that you embraced that name. But you said your call up, your first call up. Take us through exactly how that went, because a lot of people don't really know how call ups go. You got stuck in a hotel for 3 days before you even got an opportunity to step on a big league field?
Yeah. So I think at the time, Rafael Palmeiro and somebody else was, they were banged up, but they're going to go like during BP and test it out and see how they felt. So I got called up to Chicago, and I kind of got the instructions of like, hey, these two guys, either one of them could go on the DL. So, you know, just be ready to go. So it's like 5:00. The game starts at 7. I'm like full panic, never been called up to the big leagues, in my hotel doing like, you know, high knees, stretching out, karaoke, like all of this stuff. And then they called and they said, hey, they showed some improvement, give it another day. And then you're like, your heart's just racing. And next day, same thing. And then I got a call of like, hey, they're both good to go. So you're actually going to go join the AAA team in Calgary, which at the time was about 20 degrees.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so why couldn't you be at the ballpark?
I don't know. Like, I think, you know, several years ago, like if you weren't on the active roster, you couldn't be at the ballpark.
Yeah, no, and you're exactly right. And this is something that they tried to change, but teams have figured out a way to manipulate it. It's something that people don't even know about, and let alone the fact like somebody that had a fringe Hall of Fame career like yours, like to go through this. This is what teams do. They used to send guys, and they would sit them there. So you spent 3 days there, and then you flew to Calgary, where it was 20 degrees, and you played in how many games?
We played in 3 there, and then went to Edmonton, and I think one of our games got snowed out. And then the next day we had to play to get the game in. It was like one of the coldest games I've ever played in.
And then how soon after that did you get called up?
So I want to say it was a couple months later. I was doing really well in AAA, and I remember we played out in Fresno. So we were in Oklahoma City. We played in Fresno. So it's always 4 a.m. bus to the Oklahoma City airport. We'd always fly to Dallas, and then from there we flew to, I think, LA, and then it was like an hour bus ride. So our day started at like 4 a.m. We got in at like 6 p.m. to the ballpark, like an hour before the game. I just remember playing that game in like the 4th or 5th inning, just being like, man, I can't wait till this game is over so I can go to the hotel and sleep. And then in like the 9th inning, Bobby Jones calls me over. He's like, hey, you got called up to the big leagues, 6 a.m. flight tomorrow. And I'm just like, you know, I'll deal with it, just because I'm so excited to go to the big leagues. But that was like 2 flights, and then left early in the morning and got into Detroit, kind of same thing, like during the game. So I think I probably got there around like 7:30, and then ended up pinch hitting in the 9th inning.
Yeah, so you were exhausted, but you can't be tired when you get called up to the big leagues. I get that.
No, you got so much adrenaline, you're just riding the highs.
I get that.